Welcome you all again for the thermodynamic lecture series. Today we are going to solve some more problems on a steady flow energy equation. So before getting into the problem, just with a quick recall, that is the steady flow energy equation will be derived from a first law of thermodynamics, which is the total mass entering into the system which is equal to the total mass leaving into the system. That is a mass balance equation in the form of mass balance equation, and also the total energy entering into the system which is equal to the total energy leaving out of the system. Based on the mass balance and based on the energy balance, we have find out the equation as h1 plus c1 square by 2 plus gz1 plus dq by dm, which is equal to h2 plus c2 square by 2 plus gz2 plus dwx by dm. So this equation is for unit mass. When we considering a mass flow rate, so this will be our equation. So with this we get into the problem. Problem 25. A certain water heater operates under steady flow conditions. Okay, so in the problem itself they have clearly stated that a component of the engineering application it is water heater. Okay, so it operates under steady flow. So they have mentioned that it is steady flow receiving 4.2 kilogram of water at 75 degree Celsius temperature. Okay, so that is 4.2 kilogram per second is that is mass flow rate of water, that is m dot 1. Here we can assume water entering as 1 point, so that is m dot 1 is 4.2 kilogram per second, and water temperature T1 is 75 degree Celsius, and enthalpy is 313.93 kilojoule per kilogram. The water is heated by mixing with the steam which is supplied to the heater at a temperature 100.2 degrees Celsius. Okay, so in a water heater the water is heated by mixing the steam. Okay, so the second condition I am assuming it the steam is supplied there. Okay, the steam notations I have given as 2. So the temperature T2 is 100.2 degrees Celsius and enthalpy as H2 is 2676 kilojoule per kilogram. Then the total mixture, that is the heated water which leaves the heater. Okay, so the condition is 3 there. The mixture condition is 3. Here the water is 1 and steam is 2. Then the hot water, that is the mixture is 3. The mixture leaves the heater as a liquid water at temperature of 100 degrees Celsius. Okay, so that is T3 is 100 degrees Celsius and H3 is 419 kilojoule per kilogram. Here how much steam must be supplied to the heater per hour? Okay, to heat the water, that is how much of steam is supplied. Here the steam condition is 2. Okay, and how much of steam is supplied to heater per hour, that is mass flow rate of steam they are asking, that is m dot 2 in per hour they are asking. So these are all the given datas. So they are asking about a steam supplied to the heater per hour. Okay, so here consider this as a water heater. So in this water heater water is entering here and here the steam is entering. Okay, so the steam will heat the water and the mixture will leaves here. Okay, so in the water condition is I am taken as 1 and this as steam condition is 2 and mixture condition is 3. This is total surface as control surface and this volume is nothing but your control volume. So here we have to apply, that is the water and steam. Okay, so the water and steam will get mixed, that is the total energy entering into the system. Water and steam both are getting entered and the mixture is leaving out of the system. So you apply your steady flow energy equation. Then your equation as m dot 1 into h1 plus e1 square by 2 plus gz1 plus dq by d2. Here plus this is for steam, so m dot 2 into h2 plus e2 square by 2 plus gz2 plus dq by d tau, which is equal to m dot 3 into h3 plus c3 square by 2 plus gz3 plus dwx by d tau. So in this process, in the heater there is no shaft work, so this work can be neglected, and the potential and the kinetic energies all are assumed to be 0. There is no velocities and the datum levels are assumed to be equal, so we can neglect both the potential and the kinetic energies. The heater is assumed to be insulated, and also this heater is assumed to be insulated. There is no heat is given, that is no heat is lost to the surroundings. Okay, so here dq by dt is also 0. Then your steady flow energy equation will be, that is potential and kinetic energy 0, there is no heat loss, and also there is no shaft work. So you neglecting all these terms, then your equation will becomes m dot 1 into h1 dot 2 into h2, which is equal to m dot 3 into h3. then you substitute all the values in terms of SI units, you will get M2 as 0.196 kilogram per second. Okay, so substitute all the values in terms of Newton per meter square in case of pressure, but here there is no pressure, so we no need to worry about that pressure terms. Here only the terms is enthalpy, or substitute in terms of joule per kilogram, and you will get the mass flow rate as 0.196 kilogram per second. Then, so in the problem they are asking in per hour. Okay, so you have to multiply with 3600 to convert m dot 2 as 705.6 kilogram per hour. That is this much amount of mass of the steam will be supplied per hour. They are supplied. That is the steam supplied to the heater per hour is 705.6 kilogram per hour. Problem 26. Air at a temperature of 15 degrees Celsius passes through a heat exchanger at a velocity of 30 meters per second. Okay, so the initial condition, the air which having the temperature of 15 degrees Celsius which passes through the heat exchanger. Okay, one component is heat exchanger is there. With that heat exchangers, the air is entering with the temperature T1 as 15 degrees Celsius and leaving the velocity of C1 as 30 meters per second, where its temperature is raised to 18 degrees Celsius. What is the purpose of heat exchanger? It is used to increase the temperature. Okay, so the air entering temperature is 15 degrees Celsius and it will get heated by the heat exchanger. The temperature will become 800 degrees Celsius here. Then enters into a turbine. After that, this high temperature air will enters into the turbine with the same velocity of C2. Here C2 is 30 meters per second and expands until the temperature falls to 650 degrees Celsius. That is, while the air which leaving out of the turbine which measures the temperature are about 650 degrees Celsius, that is T3 equal to 650 degrees Celsius. On leaving the turbine, the air is taken at a velocity of 60 meters per second, that is T3. Okay, so the T3 is 60 meters, sorry, C3 is 60 meters per second, C3 is 60 meters per second, C is velocity, okay, to a nozzle. And again that air is substituted, that is given to the nozzle, supplied to nozzle, then where it expands until the temperature has fallen to 500 degrees Celsius, that is T4 is equal to 500 degrees Celsius. If the airflow rate is 2 kilogram per second, that is a mass flow rate, that is m dot is 2 kilogram per second, calculate the rate of heat transfer to the air in the heat exchanger. Okay, so that is we need to find out the rate of heat transfer to the air in the heat exchanger. So in the heat exchanger we need to find out rate of heat transfer, that is dq by d tau. Then second case they are asking the power output from the turbine. Okay, so the power output is dwx by d tau. Considering in turbine there is no heat loss, that is dq by d tau is 0 here. Then the velocity at the exit from the nozzle. Okay, so the velocity of the exit of the nozzle is C4 because the nozzle is in between 3 and 4. So C3 is given, so we need to find out C4. Here is also we have to assume there is no heat loss, so dq by d tau is 0 here. Then take the enthalpy of the air as H is equal to CPT. Okay, where we are using H, we can replace as Cp into T, where Cp is a specific heat, the value is given, and T is the corresponding temperature what they have given in the problem. So this is your schematic diagram. So consider this 1 to 2 is a heat exchanger and 2 to 3 is your turbine and 3 to 4 is your nozzle. Here your air is entering and here the air is leaving out. Okay, so these are all the given data as mentioned in the problem, and we need to find it out in the heat exchanger as dq by d tau, and in the turbine which is d by d tau considering dq by d tau is 0 here, and in the nozzle we need to find it out C4 considering dq by d tau is 0. First one, heat exchanger. So applying steady flow energy equation to 1 and 2, then your equation will becomes H1 plus C1 square by 2 plus GZ1 plus dq by dm, which is equal to H2 plus C2 square by 2 plus GZ2 plus dwx by dm here. So here the datum levels are equal, so we can neglect the datum levels, and the initial velocity and final velocity is also same. You can substitute same values, but they are same, so I am neglecting the both the terms. Okay, and the work transfer is 0 here. In the heat exchanger there is no work will be transferred, so work transfer is 0 here, and this H will be replaced in terms of CPT that is given. Then your equation will be CPT1 plus dq by m equal to CPT2. Okay, so for my convenient I am rearranging and writing the equation as dq by dm is equal to Cp into T2 minus T1. Then we know all the values, that is Cp as 1.005 kilojoule per kilogram is given. So substitute the values in terms of joule per kilogram and substitute the temperatures in terms of Kelvin. Then you will get dq by dm as 788925 joule per kilogram. So convert this into kilojoule per kilogram. But we need dq by d tau. So you multiply this term. This is for unit mass. Okay, when we multiply with mass flow rate, you will get with dq by d tau. So dq by d tau is equal to mass flow rate into dq by dm. Okay, then you substitute the values, you will get dq by d tau as 1577.85 kilowatt. Second one is 223 turbine. So applying the steady flow energy equation at the turbine, then you will get H2 plus C2 square by 2 plus GZ2 plus dq by dm, which is equal to H3 plus C3 square by 2 plus GZ3 plus dwx by dm. Here is also the datum levels are equal. So in the question itself they have stated that there is no heat loss, so you have to neglect dq by dm. Then you consider all the terms, then your equation will be CpT2 plus C2 square by 2, which is equal to CpT3 plus C3 square by 2 plus dwx by dm here. So in this we need to find it out dwx by dm. So we know all the values, Cp as 1.005 into 10 to the power of 3 and temperature as 1073 Kelvin, C2 is 30 and C3 is 60. Again the same values, T3 is 923. Here only one unknown term is dwx by dm. So solve this equation to will get dwx by dm as 149400 joule per kilogram. So convert this into kilojoule per kilogram. But we need dwx by d tau. So multiply with your mass flow rate. The mass flow rate is 2 kilogram per second in this problem. So you will get dwx by d tau as 298.8 kilowatt. Then 3 to 4 is nozzle. So applying a steady flow energy equation to the nozzle. So what is the purpose of the nozzle? The purpose of the nozzle is used to increase velocity. So here the datum levels are again equal, and in the problem itself assuming that there is no heat loss, and in the nozzle there is no work is to be done or no work is to be given. So the work done is 0 here, and H will be Cp into T. So you applying all the condition to the above equation, then your equation will be reduced as H3 plus C3 square by 2, which is equal to H4 plus C4 square divided by 2. So with this you supply all the values, you replace H as Cp into T3 and H4 as Cp into T4. Then you substitute all the values as 1.005 into 10 to the power of 3 into 923 plus 60 square by 2, which is equal to 1.005 into 10 to the power of 3 into 773 plus C4 square by 2. Only one unknown term is C4. So by reducing this equation you will get C4 as 552.358 meter per second. So as a result, the rate of heat transfer to the air in the heat exchanger is 1577.85 kilowatt, and power output from the turbine as dwx by d tau, which is equal to 298.8 kilowatt, and velocity at the exit from the nozzle as C4, which is equal to 552.358 meter per second. Problem 27. So air is compressed by an adiabatic compressor from 100 kilopascal and 12 degrees Celsius to a pressure of 800 kilopascal. So in the problem itself, it is a compressor problem. So that they said that the air is compressed by an adiabatic compressor. Okay, so it is an adiabatic compressor. So when we say adiabatic compression, what will happen if it is an adiabatic compression? So the heat transfer is 0 here. So we can assume the heat transfer is 0 here from initial pressure. P1 is 100 kilopascal and T1 is 12 degrees Celsius at a pressure of, after compression the pressure P2 is 800 kilopascal with a steady rate, that is a mass flow rate, that is m dot is 0.2 kilogram per second. If the isentropic efficiency of the compressor is 80%, that is compressor efficiency is 80%. Determine the exit temperature of the air and the required power input to the compressors. Okay, so we need to find it out the power input to the compressor, that is dwx by d tau, and also the exit temperature of the air T2. Okay, so how we can find, since it is an reversible adiabatic, that is adiabatic process or isentropic process, so we can use the PVT relation, that is T2 by T1, which is equal to P2 by P1 whole to the power of gamma minus 1 by gamma. Since the problem they have said that that is air, for air the adiabatic index gamma will be 1.4, so we can take gamma is equal to 1.4 in this case. So T2 by T1, which is equal to The pressure values are also given, so substitute the values to will get T2 is equal to 516.26 Kelvin. So this is your first question answer. So next one, we need to find it out dWx by d tau here. So applying the steady flow energy equation at the compressor, we will get m dot into h1 plus c1 square by 2 plus g is at 1 plus dq by d tau, which is equal to m dot into h2 plus c2 square by 2 plus g is at 2 plus dWx by d tau. Here the datum levels are equal and the velocities are also equal, and there is no heat transfer since it is an adiabatic process, so there is no heat transfer. So as we all remember, so if we say it is a reversible adiabatic or isentropic process, so there is no area under the TS plot, the entropies are equal, so dq by d tau is automatically 0. Then you apply all these conditions to the above equation, then your equation will be deduced as m dot h1, which is equal to m dot h2 plus dWx by d tau. Okay, so then your equation will be dWx by d tau is equal to m dot into h1 minus h2. So m dot is given in the problem, that is 0.2 kilogram per second, you substitute. Then h can be replaced as Cp into T1. Okay, so this mCp into T1, that m can be taken outside, that is Cp into T1 minus Cp into T2. So again I am reducing this, then you apply the values in terms of SI units, then you will get dWx by d tau as minus 46483.26 joule per second, or minus 46.483 kilojoule per second. Okay, then this kilojoule per second can be written as kilowatt here, that is dWx by d tau is equal to minus 46.48 kilowatt. So, but in the problem they have given compressor efficiency, so we have find out ideal work done. Okay, so we have find out the ideal work done of the compressor. So that is the compressor efficiency equal to work done of ideal work done divided by your actual work done. So in this problem we need to find out the actual work done. So the compressor efficiency is 80%, so substitute as 0.8, which is equal to the ideal efficiency we have find it out from the previous case, so that is minus 46.48 kilowatt. With this solving the above reducing equation, you will get the work done of actual work done of the compressor is minus 58.104 kilowatt. So as a result, the exit temperature of the air as T2 is 516.26 Kelvin. The required power input to the compressor, that is actual work, okay, dWx by d tau, which is equal to minus 58.104 kilowatt. Thank you.